Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good evening. Please
Good evening,
come.
sorry.
Take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
You're Shubhangi Srivastav.
Yes, sir.
Shubhangi, I can see that you're basically from Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh.
Yes.
I can also see that as far as education goes, you did your BTech in 2012.
Yes.
That is from some private university, right? 2012. And you did your master's in 2014.
Yes, sir.
That is also in biotechnology?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are you doing since 2014?
Sir, thereon I went to do some research with ICGB in New Delhi. And then on I went for another research project at IIT Delhi.
These research were leading to your PhD, or these were
No, these were
different from
standalone projects.
standalone projects, and you were not pursuing your doctoral research
sir.
during this period?
No, sir.
Why?
So I was preparing for UPSC also, so I didn't think it would give me enough space to handle both the things.
And why, despite having this biotechnological background and being into research and all, you are even considering civil services? Why not a scientist? Scientists are so much required. Any BA pass people can come and become a civil servant, and in any case they have only to see a few files.
Sir, the civil services are the most coveted job in the country, and I have been pursuing.
It has unfortunately become quite a coveted job, but ultimately it does what it does, which is nothing. It cannot be compared with what you could have done in labs. The entire world is worrying about the COVID thing. Had you been in the labs, you might be contributing to save so many lives.
Sir, I was indulging in some volunteering activities also ever since I started my professional education. So I have always been working in this field, but I really feel that I can do much more as a civil servant, and it will provide me greater opportunities. Rather than working in just one lab, I can impact a lot of people and a lot of labs, or a lot of direct involvement with the lives of people will be there as a civil servant as compared to a researcher.
Okay, tell me, if you've been to these labs and all, how many CSIR labs are there, and what is the administrative structure of the CSIR labs in our country?
So the exact number I do not know.
Yes, what is the administrative structure?
So I'll have to read on that because I don't want to say anything wrong. I don't know the exact sector.
Okay, Shubhangi, I'll ask you something which you already know. You're from Lucknow.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, why this is such a strange spelling of Lucknow? What is the history behind it?
So
why will anybody spell Lucknow the way they spell it? Lucknow. It cannot be Lucknow. Why is it so?
So it probably has some influence because of the British.
It's your city. You never wondered?
So the Britishers used to speak it in that sense. They used to also call Kanpur as, the spelling was different for that also.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. It's about your state. Why are you surprised as if I'm asking a question which you shouldn't be knowing? Why Lucknow is spelled as Lucknow? Why Kanpur was used to be spelled as Kanpur? Why Meerut is spelled as Meerut? Why? And there is a specific reason to it, I'm telling you.
So because of the... they were under the British rule, that's why.
The entire India was under the British rule. That cannot be the answer. Britishers has something to do with it, but what?
Sir, I'll have to read on that.
Okay, you are from agriculture. Agriculture is your optional paper, right?
Yes, sir.
We are under agrarian distress. We are also heading towards definitely a depression, or if not recession, or either way. The entire economy is going that route. It is almost clear, right? Tell me, if the recession is formally here, how will it impact the agriculture?
So the rural demand will fall, and then the agricultural prices will crash because there will be no demand.
Will they crash? It didn't happen in the earlier depression. When the Bengal famines came, GDP went down, but the inflation went up. That's what caused famines. So why are you saying that the agriculture demand will fall and hence the price will fall? Demand will fall and the price will increase is the biggest fear. What is the basis on which you're saying that the demand will fall and the prices will fall? Because you studied
the
so
food
in ninth
production
class.
is surplus in the country, and when the demand will fall, they'll try to sell in a distress. So the prices will also fall.
For the farmers, they will. And later, when they have to buy it?
Yes, sir, when they have to buy, then it will be a different issue. But when they are selling as a seller, they will be in a bad shape.
Okay, what would be the total impact on agriculture? Will the agriculture grow? Will the agriculture remain static? Or will it fall? If the industrial recession is here.
So it shouldn't have much impact on agriculture as such, because we are anyways exporting, and the agriculture, food inflation has been increasing recently.
You're telling me or you're asking me?
Sir, I'm getting
You're not
confused.
so sure. Sir.
Shubhangi,
Yes, sir.
you are residing in Lucknow,
Yes,
but
sir.
your actually permanent address is Varanasi. My question is, Varanasi is near to Lucknow or Kyoto?
So symbolically, it is said to be like Kyoto, but if you talk about the actual distance, it's closer to Lucknow.
But why we are talking about it is near to the Kyoto?
So I read about it, but I'm forgetting at the moment.
Okay. Your mother is a homemaker.
Yes, sir.
I have one view regarding homemakers, that homemakers should get salary for their work. What's your take?
So they should get the salary for their work, but it will be a very in the practical implementation would be very complicated about this, because the caregiving that they give at home, it is never recognized.
Should you say your father to start this one?
So he already does.
Okay. So coming to your agriculture, and one question is, what are the nutrients lying in the alluvial soil?
Sir, in the alluvial soil we have nitrogen, potassium, alumina.
Nitrogen has sufficiency or deficiency?
Sir, it is nitrogen deficient because it is a depositional soil, but it is present.
Okay. Rest?
Sir, aluminum is there, and we also have silica.
What is the difference between old alluvial soil and new alluvial soil?
Sir, the old alluvial soil is less fertile as compared to the new one, because it's been
not according to fertility, according to the components.
Sir, the size of the soil particles are larger in the older soil.
And regarding components?
Sir, I'm not getting what
Okay. You have have interest in hunger and malnutrition. So there is one concept that color has a close relation of nutrition. Colors of food particularly has a very close relation with the nutrition. What's your view?
So yes, sir, it has a close relation. There are the biological pigments which are related to micronutrients and vitamins. So we have carotenoids in carrot, and dark red color in the pom fruit is for the iron. And also it's advised that there should be a diversity in the food groups that we are consuming, which can be ensured by ensuring different colors of food.
Regarding Africa, what is the problem? Either hunger or malnutrition?
So it's both, because poverty is the basic underlying cause over there. So it leads to both the things, poverty as well as hunger.
Lucknow is the demarcation line, we can say, regarding UP, that when we move eastward, there is a problem of hunger, and when we move west, there is a problem of malnutrition. Is it correct?
Sir,
particularly in the rural areas.
UP West area, they are comparatively more urbanized, so they have the problem of malnutrition more. And when we talk about the UP East, it's comparatively less urbanized, so probably that's the reason that they are
only this one reason is, or any other reason you have?
Sir, I'm not able to think at the moment.
Thank you.
Shubhangi,
Yes.
as you are from biotechnology, Just tell me, how will you differentiate between exenic culture and tissue culture? Both are same?
Tissue culture, exenic culture, I haven't heard of this term actually, exenic culture.
Okay, what do you understand by tissue culture?
Ma'am, tissue culture is the growing and regrowing of cells within the culture media artificially in the lab.
Can we grow both animal and plant cell in tissue culture?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is cryopreservation?
Ma'am, it is preserving of the cells at a very low temperature, preferably using the liquid nitrogen.
What will be the temperature of liquid nitrogen?
Ma'am, minus 196 degrees.
196 degrees. As you worked on bacterial regulation in bacteria, can you tell me any enzyme which we use for bacterial transcription process?
Ma'am, which we use in normal cloning.
Okay, normal cloning.
Ma'am, DNA ligase is used, and different restriction enzymes are used, like HIN3 or EcoR1.
And what about RNA polymerase?
Yes, ma'am. RNA polymerase, DNA polymerase. When we talk about reverse transcription, then reverse transcription.
What is the difference between RNA polymerase and DNA polymerase?
Ma'am, DNA polymerase is a DNA dependent enzyme, whereas RNA polymerase is it transcribes RNA. Sorry, ma'am. DNA polymerase transcribes DNA only from DNA, but RNA polymerase transcribes RNA from DNA.
Can DNA polymerase can work in bacterial transcription process? DNA polymerase is an enzyme. Can it work in bacterial transcription process?
No, ma'am.
Why?
Ma'am, because it is primarily working in DNA replication process, not transcription.
Okay. Can you name some biosafety labs in Delhi?
In Delhi, ma'am, we have National Institute of Immunology. Then we have one in ICGB also.
And what about JNU?
Ma'am, about JNU, I'll have to say.
Any other lab outside Delhi?
Ma'am, CCMB Hyderabad.
That is a biosafety lab? What do you mean by biosafety labs?
Ma'am, they have a facility at CCMB.
Biosafety labs?
They have a facility at CCMB.
Okay. Can you name a state tree of UP? State tree of Uttar Pradesh?
Ma'am, fig.
Dhak, you know? What is the botanical name of dhak?
Ma'am, I don't.
Palash?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the botanical name of Palash?
Ma'am, I don't remember the name, botanical name.
Okay, it is also known as parrot tree. Why we call it parrot tree?
Ma'am, because the leaves turn red. That's why.
Leaves turn red, or the shape of that petal turns in the beak type of the parrot? Okay. What is Paris Climate Deal?
Ma'am, it's a deal that it tries to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions.
India is a part of Paris Climate Deal. When did he join this?
Ma'am, 1992, I think.
Okay. What are mangroves?
Ma'am, mangroves are these are coastal ecosystems which contain plants which have inverted roots, and they are very good at surviving in saline water conditions.
What is specific about the roots in the mangrove plants?
Ma'am, they can survive in the saline waters. They don't require very high oxygen concentration in the water.
High oxygen?
Yes, ma'am.
What are pneumatophores?
Ma'am, the roots are above the ground.
Can you name some conducting tissue in plant system?
Ma'am, xylem and phloem.
Can you differentiate what is the role of xylem and phloem?
Yes, ma'am. Xylem transports water, whereas phloem transports food materials. And xylem is basically dead tissue, whereas phloem is living one.
Phloem is living one. Can you a living cell in phloem?
Excuse me?
Living cell in phloem. It's a tissue, but it is made up of different cells, different kinds of.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you name some living cell in phloem?
Ma'am, sieve cells and companion cells.
So sieve cells and companion cells both are living?
Yes, ma'am.
Only companion cells are living. Okay, thank you, Shubhangi.
Shubhangi,
Yes.
what do you understand by this term soft power?
Sir, the cultural or diplomatic ties or leverages we have.
Okay, so India always talks about soft power. So can we make a deduction that India is also a soft state when it comes to dealing with threats?
No, sir, we cannot make that deduction, because soft state is a different thing. It means that we are not strong-handed when we are dealing with external threats.
But for long, like Pakistan has been bleeding India by 1,000 cuts, and India has hardly taken any step. In recent times, it has changed. So there was a air strike by India, Balakot air strike, and it is being said that a new normal has been set. What is this new normal?
Sir, earlier India didn't retaliate in such a manner ever, but this time they are setting a precedent that if there is aggression, then India will retaliate.
But India also did a surgical strike, and it was well publicized. But there was something different with this airstrike. What was the difference?
So with this one?
Yes.
Sir, it was in retaliation to what has happened with the CRPF Jawans.
Okay. And can you tell me what is this string of pearls theory?
Sir, it is the theory that states that the China is trying to build centers of military power all around the Indian Ocean.
Okay. And India is also building a port in Iran. What is the name of that port?
Sir, Chabahar Port.
And now with the changing equation in Afghanistan, do you think India will be able to utilize that port?
Sir, India should be able to do that, because Afghanistan is moving towards a peaceful Afghanistan process.
Okay. Your optional is agriculture, and there is a lot of talk about genetically modified crops. So which crops have been given permission in India?
Sir, only BT cotton has been given.
No food crop has been given permission?
No, sir, BT brinjal was in the pipeline, but it has still not gotten.
What about this mustard? Genetically modified
trials
mustard?
Are going on in Punjab Agriculture University about that.
Okay. And there is this issue with the dairy sector. Recently, India did not sign this RCEP agreement, and it was said that the US dairy farmers would get access to Indian markets.
Yes.
So one problem is that they are heavily subsidized. What is the other issue?
Sir, the other issue is that in India we have a lot of farmers depending on the milk production, whereas when we talk about countries like New Zealand or USA, they are not having even 250 or 1,000 households depending on that. So
okay, does it have something to do with the feed that is given to the cattle in US and other places?
Yes, sir, the feed is genetically modified crop over there, and we are not using that in India.
My final question to you, there is a soil health card. How many parameters does it measure?
Sir, 12.
And what are those parameters? If you can give me the basic breakup, like macronutrients.
Yes, sir. It measures different macronutrients and micronutrients, including when we talk about macronutrient, it's carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, iron, sulfur and all. And
what is EC in that?
Yes, sir.
EC. One parameter is EC.
Electrical conductivity of the soil.
How it is measured?
So it's measured using a particular device is there for conductivity meter.
Okay.
Shubhangi,
Yes, ma'am.
You have worked with social causes of hunger and malnutrition. Can you tell me what is hidden hunger?
Ma'am, hidden hunger is a condition where the caloric requirements are met, but the basic micronutrients are still not present in the body, so body is basically still hungry.
Okay, so when we are talking about the SDG goals regarding hunger and malnutrition, are we taking into account this hidden hunger also?
Yes, ma'am.
In which goal are we taking it into account?
Ma'am, the first one itself.
In the first one itself. Can you tell me among the SDG goals, all the 17 goals, which is that one goal, if we achieve that, the problems like hunger, malnutrition and education, all these would be simultaneously achieved. We do not have to separately, discretely focus on them.
Ma'am, the one about the inclusive growth.
Inclusive growth?
Sustainable and inclusive growth. I don't remember the exact number of the goal.
No problem, I'm not keen on number. There's also a goal of gender equality.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you think by achieving this gender equality, these problems, even including the hidden hunger, would be taken care of much better than rather focusing on the first two goals?
Ma'am, all these problems are interrelated, so all of them would have to be looked into.
That's why I'm asking that it is interrelated. I understand that. That's why I'm saying instead of achieving hunger, the problem of hunger, the goal related to it, we should directly strive for the gender equality.
Ma'am, the thing is that the poverty and hunger, they are more eminent, because if we'll not deal with that first, we'll not be able to achieve gender equality.
And do you think that if we deal with poverty and hunger and malnutrition, and we do not strive towards gender equality, would these goals be sustainably achieved in the long run?
No, ma'am.
They will fall short.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what is cord blood? It's been in news since some time. Hematopoietic cord blood.
Ma'am, I haven't heard of it.
You haven't heard? Okay. The difference between chromatin and chromatid?
Ma'am, chromatin is a loose form of DNA which is not coiled at the moment, and when we go for when the cell goes for division, then chromosomes are formed by condensation and they are called chromatids.
Okay. You come from Varanasi, and Varanasi happens to be the constituency of our Prime Minister. Varanasi as a place has gained from this or has lost out because of this?
Ma'am, it has gained recently. There has been so many infrastructural development that I could see, including the cleaning of the Ganga Ghats, and the other connectivity has improved a lot.
Okay. Such things are happening all over the place in India with coming of Swachh Bharat, smart cities, and the Swachhta goals rankings. So nothing specific that Varanasi has gained.
Ma'am, the pace at which things are moving in Varanasi is really commendable.
Okay, my last question to you. If I were to visit Varanasi and I tell you that I'm not interested in the temples and the religious places, which are the 3 places you would take me?
Ma'am, you are not interested in cultural places also?
No, I'm interested in cultural places.
Okay, so there is a recently opened Sanskritik Sankul which displays a lot of local art and craft. I'll take you there.
Okay.
And I'll take you for delectable cuisines that the Banaras has to offer. And I will also take you to the ghats. It's just for the scenic beauty of it.
Just the scenic beauty. Which ghat among all?
Ma'am, all of them are good. I like the Shashamel Ghat most.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Shubhangi.
Yes, sir.
Shubhangi, today is 15th of March. It is birthday of Kanshira. You're coming from UP. Tell me, what is Kanshiram's contribution to polity of UP?
Sir, I'll have to read about it.
You know nothing about Kanshiram? What is the role of BSP in the current polity of UP?
So currently, I don't think they are doing much work, but when they were in power, they were involved in a lot of infrastructure development, and they were.
So if they're out of power. If a particular party is out of power, it has no role in the polity of the state.
Sir, I am saying that they are not very active at the moment. No comments or anything comes from them right now.
Is it how we look at the polity of a state? I mean, they have a political base. They have a huge following. They are voters who are committed to a particular party. Even if they are, say, around 10%, it's a huge number in UP.
Yes,
and you're saying that they have no role currently.
No, sir, I'm not saying they have no role. I am saying they have not been actively participating in any big programs.
Okay, trace the party from its inception to current status.
Sir, I'll have to read about it. I am not very aware of it.
You're not very aware. Okay, Shubhangi, you have worked in different labs. When this hashtag #MeToo movement came into light, it was primarily because of the academic areas. It is generally believed that the academic world is plagued with this problem of sexual harassment at workplace, especially the labs. What is your take? Do you believe that this movement has changed something on ground, or you believe that it was merely a high class stuff which came and went?
Sir, I feel that two things have changed. A lot of women now feel comfortable coming out and telling their stories, and they have empowered other women also to do that. And on the other hand, the people who are the perpetrators of such crimes, there also some fear is there among them that people might speak about the problems that they're facing. And the institutions have also taken into cognizance, and they have also, IIT Delhi, like I can give the example that we have a helpline number over there, and we have dedicated cells for these things now.
Fine, Shubhangi, it was nice talking to you. You can go now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, yes, tell me, what are the areas you're doing fine, and what according to you still needs some improvement?
Sir, I am really bad with names and remembering these trivial things. I have to work on that.
See, Shubhangi, you need to understand when a particular interview goes factual. It is usually the interview in which the board members find that the initial reception from the interview, the candidate is not coming well. So they're forced to come up with the questions, and they're not ready with the question. What will they do? They'll start firing the factual questions. You getting my point? It's not like that we have a syllabus. So neither they. So they start a conversation, hoping that the conversation will go in a healthy direction, in a direction in which a active conversation is going. If that doesn't happen, what will happen? The board members will start coming up with a factual question, and you believe that facts are not your strength, right? Especially the facts which you believe are not there in the syllabus of your things. Is that right?
Sir, I'll have to work on it.
No, don't worry about it, because you have to take care of the time constraints also. You have around how much days? 10 days time, right? So you have to judiciously use your time. That is also important. In my opinion, you're a good candidate. You're a good candidate considering that you have a nice background. You've been working hard. You have certain achievements to your credit. You've been to good institutions, and it appears that you are a good researcher, because academically you are a good candidate. That part is all, you carry a good personality, so the board members are likely to be interested in interacting with you. But when it comes to discussion, sometimes it appears that you are unnecessarily under pressure. Your answers are not bad, but what is happening is that you're giving answers in a very scared manner. सहमे हुए लग रहे. There's no point. See, you have cleared a very important examination, right? This opportunity to appear before the board is not given just in charity. It is not. You have achieved it, right? If you have achieved it, then let the joy of achieving something be reflected on your face. Right now, it has not been reflected. So my immediate concern is that you should be happy interacting with the board members rather than being scared of the board members. Right? That is the most important thing. Why you shouldn't be scared of the board members? Because if you consider the board members scary, they'll become scary. If you consider them as somebody who are giving you the opportunity to show the best part of your personality, they will become that. So it's all your your all acts. I mean, it is your performance that drives the interview in the direction you want it to be there, right? Coming to specifics. Sitting posture by and large is good. Voice level you can raise a bit, right? Hand movement, you have this special tendency of holding your hand like this, as if you're really, really stressed out, right? Generally, the best way is to put your hand like this, right? It shows that you're not tense. It shows that you're relaxed and still formal, right? Can you place your hand like this? Do it. Don't worry. Yes. Okay. Eye contact by and large is good. Flow is good. In your eyes, there is this aspect which I said, you're looking scared, right? So do have eye contact with the board member you're talking to. Look in the eyes of the board member. That's the most confident way of delivering answer, right? Other things by and large okay. My only, the board members have suggested it, and I agree that at places it appears that instead of reaching to the core of the question, you try and address only the surface part of it. Try and reach to the core of the question. Generally, there is an intent of the board member. If you're able to address the intent of the board member in the first sentence or maybe second, you're there. And if you try and, trying to reach, then the board members certainly sometimes get frustrated, right? So you can avoid that. Otherwise, usually things are okay. Your interview is on 2nd of April?
No, sir, 26th of March.
26th of March. So you don't have that kind of time. Your 2nd of April is your date of
birth.
Right. So it will be just after that Fool's Day. So be ready for pranks, right? Everything else is okay. Please read UP, right? UP is a home state. You cannot run from it. So whatever time you have, use it for this thing. In your subject, you were okay, but there were, ma'am suggests that there were places where she was expecting better answers, but then use your time judiciously to as much as you can achieve in this, right? All the best. Done.
Thank you.